Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are on the 19th of May. I know. Yesterday when I did my weekend editions, I said the 18th. And you know something? I appreciate everyone that wrote, and there were a number of you, that you're listening to me. Thank you. I don't know how I did that, but I did. That error continued all day today, not on calendar dates. If I had to type something, I typed it wrong. If I had to record, I recorded it wrong, including tonight's updates. Normally, this should take me X amount of minutes. I'm triple it tonight. You know, did you ever have a day like that where everything you do is wrong? Thank God the trading wasn't that way, because that's what really matters, but it's how it worked. You know, as we get to the evening trade, you have a mixed picture in the stock market. I want natural gas to rally back up, and we're moving over to the July contracts now on everything. I'm waiting for the heating oil to give you some quotes. Bonds and notes, you know, over the weekend, they prepped you for today being a Black Monday, with interest rates going to climb 5 to 15 basis points in the 30-year. Get well over 5%. Well, it did get over 5%. So the analysts weren't wrong. It just couldn't hold it. And the market's back down into the 4.9 level, and that some of that pressure came off the market. But you really didn't hold up in the stock market all that well, nor did you break all that well. We're sort of stuck, and I think it's an important area that we're going to discuss tonight, where we're at. Can it keep going? That's going to be a big question. Before I get too far, I want you to consider my morning SPDR ETF, stock market, and futures reports. Start your day off with that. This is not that morning flash report. This is where I cover 40 futures, and I say buy here, sell there, and I track in the videos how those recommendations have done. Then I do the same thing on the SPDR's ETFs. I track each recommendation until you're out of it. You've been in, I think, a year and a half in the video. So I track it every day as to where you got in. And I've been in and out, but refuse to give up the core position and things like that. You will see them. Just go to iraepstein.com research. You owe it to yourself to give it a try. All right. Now let's take a look, if we could, at the news of the day. Not much tomorrow. You're going to get Redbook Group, retail sales. We're getting more Fed members. Maybe they'll say a word or two. We get a listens event, as they call it, with Boston Fed President Collins at 8:30. And then we'll get the API numbers at the end of the day. So we have to pay attention, see where that's going to go. Today, you know, you had to pay attention to the crop conditions report. And they're going to be more important in the U.S. as now we start paying attention to what are these crops doing and not doing. When we look at an E-mini S&P chart, look at how this market has rallied. The week of April 11th on a weekly chart, the week of the 11th, the days, it was typically April 7th. The market hasn't looked back. The big question is, can it clear this with that type of rally and no look back? When we take a look at where we're at on a bar chart of daily, April 7th low coming up here. The old high was 62.39. Are we going to be able to run with that? On this chart with the swing line, I drew the blue line that ties into that 62.36 I happen to have on that one, but the same thing. That's your resistance point. Can you get up there before you put in a 20% correction, 10% correction, 5%, whatever it's going to be? You haven't had a correction. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Will we get the Tuesday reversals in the market? Don't know. What I'm looking at right here is the market cleared, past tense. Now, for over a week, the 200 and the 100-day moving averages. Didn't even pay attention. That is so unusual. Normally, you'll get up, and when you challenge them, you see it over and over. You saw it back here. This is unbelievable in the power this market has. It hasn't given up the power the market has, and how one-sided the people are. I saw a poll came out today, the Harvard Harris poll. And for the first time since 2021, traders, analysts, whoever they're polling, said the U.S. economy, 51% to 49%, the economy is strong. Whoa, well, we're seeing that. These markets are getting bought up on these breaks. We are seeing that. Here's the strength. Look at that embedded reading. You don't fight that. If you learn anything from me, you get this embedded reading and you want to be the guy being short, I think you have a better time taking the top down on your car, taking your money, driving nice and fast and watching it go out, because you can get hurt in that type of market. I said can. I'm not saying every time is identical, but this is typically the strongest technical signal I know of. And I've seen charts, computer science, everything. I know of nothing stronger than that technique. When we come to the NASDAQ, I also put the number up here for you, okay? So this is how far away you are now from the all-time highs in the futures. Are we going to get through it? I don't know. Are we ripe for a correction? For no reason at all, yes. Just because of how far you have rallied off that low in the face of everything. What a heck of a rally, right? When you take a look at the resistance, well, now you're into in the Dow, the 200, the 100 in that band. You have the embedded reading. You know I'm not bearish. Just a warning sign as to where you're at. When you look at the Russell, you're not even up there. This continues to be, to me, the dog of all the indices. That doesn't mean it's not in an uptrend right now. It is, but it's the dog. It is not the one you play catch up. You don't buy that to do it. The first signal you'll probably get to go short is the weakest on the rally. That would make more sense to me. In the DAX, a drum roll, applause, you finally hit the upper Bollinger Band. It took all this time, again, from that April 7th, 11th period, to get up to the band for the very first time. Wow. That is so unusual. The strength of this market, it's unlike anything recently been seen, I'm telling you. In the 10-year notes, well, the market got down and it keeps fighting for its life. How's that? At the 100-day average in the Bollinger Band. You can see it. Now, the market is starting to lock in with that embedded reading. Not tonight. Let's go to the day before, to Monday. Both numbers under 20. Both under 20 on Friday and both under 20 the day before. What it's trying to do tonight is lose that reading. If it can close over 21 up here, then I'm going to argue you might go back even to the 18-day average. And for the moment, that was a sell the fact, buy the rumor basis. Okay? Interesting. The rumor being it's not as bad as you think. 2-year notes sitting down here, but unlike the 10-year, it's embedded bearish. So if it doesn't give this up, the odds favor it's going to the lower band again. In the dollar, well, this rally that began on April 7th, to me, is now formally over. That does not mean you're entering a bear trend. You could easily, but you haven't done it. You'd have to close underneath the 18-day average. But it certainly means that that rally is past tense. It's done as a chartist. Higher lows, higher highs, no more. Lower highs, lower lows, but not with the bias. You need to stay under the 18-day average. And the flip-flops taking place in the euro. Here's your resistance. When we come to the British pound, can it reach up to the upper Bollinger Band is the question. It's already overbought. I don't know that you want to press this market too far after this. In Bitcoin, still moving on to the upside. Wow. Look at how the market today tried the down and then came back with a pretty good vengeance, I think so at least, to close higher. So I like it. I've got clients that are in IBIT on the SPDR ETF if they followed the recommendations that I put out. I don't know if they did or didn't. But that's what we've told them to do, and that's how we're tracking the market. Then on the energies, they are staying above the 18-day average. The trend is up. It is overbought as can be. In the crude, the July now, this WTI, trend up, overbought, same way as Brent. And gasoline, I wanted the market so bad to come down in this. The market is not embedded at this point. You've got a 79 reading. I'm watching this really close because I want to get involved in that. Remember that right now, my natural gas report is up. It might go off at midnight tonight. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow at midnight that it goes off. My IT department didn't tell me. And I'm getting ready to do another report right behind it. So I hope to have that one out by Wednesday. In the meantime, please take advantage of the research